ever started to bake something or make something that needed baking powder just to realize you didn't have any more baking powder? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. You're going to need 3 things: baking soda, cornstarch, and cream of tartar. It is 1 part baking soda to 1 part cornstarch to 2 parts cream of tartar. I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch, and 1 whole teaspoon of cream of tartar. Stir it up to combine, and this makes 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And there you have it. Have you ever gotten ready to make something with cornmeal, cornbread or something, just to realize you had no more? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. All you need is some popcorn, and a simple coffee grinder. Take your coffee grinder, put your popcorn in it, put the lid on, and grind it up. Once you finish grinding it, you need to sift it through to get any particles out that did not grind. Now you can do this with fresh corn as well as frozen corn, but canned corn won't work so well. This will also work in a high-powered blender, but not a food processor. And there you have it. Have you ever gone to make something or bake something or cook something and you needed powdered sugar just to realize you had none? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. You'll need a blender or a food processor. Depending on the speed and the power of your device, that's how long it'll take. Anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. You'll need 1 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Blend it on high. Ooh, as you can see, the powderiness is coming out of the blender. And there you have it. Have you ever wondered why some chocolate desserts like cakes and brownies, they just taste so rich, chocolatey, bold with flavor? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. You'll need to bloom your chocolate. Whatever amount of chocolate your recipe calls for, and whatever amount and type of liquid your recipe calls for. You want to warm your liquid, not boiling, just make sure it's good and warm, and pour that amount of liquid into your chocolate. Combine it well and let it sit for a few minutes. This is called blooming your chocolate. Blooming your chocolate will release more flavor and give you that bold, rich, delicious chocolate dessert. And there you have it. Everyone doesn't want to bake from scratch and make cakes and pies and things like that from scratch, so how do you make your box cake taste better? Come with me, I'll show you what to do. Adding just 2 extra egg yolks to your box cake mix can make it richer and moist. Swap out any water called for in the recipe for milk. Want dairy-free? Use almond milk or coconut milk. Instead of using vegetable oil or canola oil, use butter, sour cream, or full-fat yogurt. If you are making a chocolate cake, use a strong brewed coffee instead of any liquid. Box cake mix has powdered vanilla flavoring in it, so amp it up with your own extract. You can use vanilla, coconut, almond, or whatever flavor you want, and a teaspoon will do. And there you have it. When you're baking a cake, everyone doesn't want to make icing from scratch all the time. So how do you make this canned icing taste better? Come with me, I'll show you what to do. Before using it, either with a hand whisk or an electric mixer, beat it a little bit more to make it extra fluffy. You can add a little extra dairy to it, like softened cream cheese or freshly whipped cream. You can add more flavor to it by adding in a spoon or 2 of peanut butter, fruit preserves, or even marshmallow fluff. You can also add in things like chocolate chips, nuts, peanut butter chips, and there you have it. Butter and flour your cake pan just to find out it is still sticking to the pan? Come with me, I'll show you what to do. We're going to make a homemade pan release. It's also called cake goop. You'll need some vegetable oil, all-purpose flour, and shortening. Take your shortening, your oil, and your flour. You're going to whisk this by hand so you don't overmix it. But if you cannot whisk by hand, go ahead and use anything electric that you have, but make sure it's on low. Once it's all done, it should be smooth like that. A pastry brush, get some, and literally paint the inside of your pan. You are having a chocolate cake or your cake is very thin, you may need to put more. Store it in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 9 months. I used 1/2 cup of each item. You can easily double the recipe. And there you have it. Have you ever wondered, how do I get my cake to come out flat without that round dome? Come with me, I'll show you what to do. First, you'll need a long piece of paper towel. You don't want it to be dripping, but it needs to be good and wet. Take this paper towel and gently unfold it. You want to fold it in half the long way and fold it in half again until you get a long strip, just like that. Then you need a piece of foil the same size. And take your long wet paper towel and put it right down closer to the section closer to you. Fold it until it's all folded over. Take your cake pan and we're going to wrap it around. Wrap your whole pan. Get to the end, make sure you fold it over tight. Your cake cooks from the outside in. So the wet paper towel and the foil brings down the temperature on the outside, giving it an even cook all the way around. And so you'll have a flat cake. And there you have it. Have you ever had a recipe that called for self-rising flour and you started making your recipe just to realize you had none? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. For every 1 cup of all-purpose flour, you add a teaspoon and a half of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whisk it all together. Then, make sure you sift it through for even distribution. And there you have it. Have you ever gotten ready to make a recipe that called for buttermilk just to realize you had none? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. You'll need either lemon juice or vinegar. I choose lemon juice most of the time. And milk. For every cup of milk, you want to add a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice. I have a 1/2 cup, so I'm adding a 1/2 tablespoon. Pour it in, stir it around, and let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And that makes buttermilk. And there you have it. Have you ever needed to make something that called for brown sugar just to realize you had none? Come with me, I'll show you what to do. You'll need some plain white sugar and molasses. For light brown sugar, you'll need a cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of molasses. Stir this until it is all combined. This is our light brown sugar, and once you're done, it should look like this, well incorporated. For dark brown sugar, you need 2 tablespoons of molasses. Mix in your 2nd tablespoon of molasses until it's well incorporated. I usually make my brown sugar right when I'm getting ready to use it, but if you want to make it ahead and store it, you can put it in an airtight container for 1 month. This is your dark brown sugar, and there you have it. When you have homemade scratch cake like this carrot cake left over and this cheesecake, but you just can't eat it all, come with me. I'll show you what to do. First, take your cake, whatever kind of cake it is, and cut it into slices. Place it on a baking sheet on top of parchment paper and freeze it. Once it's frozen solid, grab you some plastic wrap. Take your plastic wrap and your slice of cake. Wrap it up, then grab some foil. Then take your foil and put your cake in the foil. Wrap it up tight. Mark it with what type of cake it is and the date. Your cake will last for up to 1 year in the freezer. And there you have it. Do you ever get tired of your cling wrap, your plastic wrap balling up every time you try to use it? Come with me. I'll show you what to do. Just store your plastic wrap in your freezer. Then when you go to use it, You can tear a piece right off. If you do not have space in your freezer to keep the plastic wrap on a permanent basis, you can always just take something out and put it in. It only takes a few seconds for it to become cold. Once it reaches room temperature, then it cleans again. And there you have it.